Well, check this out, man. I found this video. It's from our channel, but the topic's pretty good. Look at this. A police auditor calls out LAPD live on camera. Check it out.
We're still at the very early stage of this investigation. We still have lots of witnesses to interview, body-worn video and other video evidence to go over, and evidence to collect. So this is very early stages of this investigation.
In LA, the Twitter account Film the Police is seen asking better, more pointed questions than local media.
You said the suspect's weapon was collected at the scene. What was the weapon?
You know, we're just only describing this weapon at this time as the investigation.
Was it a handgun?
Again, we're describing it as a weapon.
Was it a knife? Was it a handgun or a knife?
You know, we just got several 911 calls that there was a man in the area armed with a hammer.
Was a handgun found at the scene?
A weapon was.
What kind of weapon?
Yes. The area around.
Man, this guy sounds like Tiger Woods. Let's read some of the comments before we continue, shall we? So I think I recognize it. I don't know if it's a soccer cup, but there's a guy called, he does call himself Josh Martinez, but yeah, I think he goes by High Desert Community Watch. Yeah. Here's a guy, LEP. Uvalde cops show us what Blue Lives Matter really means. Cowards. Here's a SCI doc. There is no other Western country where so many innocent people are murdered by the police as in the USA. A supposedly high developed country, it is shameful that something like this can still happen in the 21st century without any consequence for the police. A country like this, with the criminal police, wants to lead and free the world. Yeah. Kevin Kahn says, LAPD have killed 12 less people than murderers we have in our province for the year. Ontario, Canada, well, they still have a chance to beat us. Yeah, here's one right here. Police are not scared to shoot an armed man. Yep. Time to spend their lives. Exactly. All right, let's get back to it.
Martin Luther King,
This is ridiculous.
and Crenshaw will be impacted for several hours. And again, this is
But why can't you just give a straight answer? Honestly, give a straight answer. You say there's a weapon at the scene. What is the weapon? You know what it is.
You want to answer?
I haven't had a chance to look at the weapon.
Well, you can go find out right now. Walk down there and find out what the weapon is.
This is how you press the spokesperson for answers and try to pry information to prevent a narrative being spun.
Neighbors are telling us
There was
there's
children
absolutely no
outside.
handgun involved here, that this man was shot in the back.
In front of children.
In front of children.
Shot in the back.
Well, again, we're at the very early stages of this.
Then go do your job, then. Everything you're saying is useless. This is all useless. This is just damage control. You shot a man in the back. Your cop shot a man in the back, and he didn't have a gun. You got some nerve as you come here and come to the cameras and start feeding them a bunch of. You got some nerve.
He calls BS, and guess what? He was right.
And a uniformed patrol officer arrived.
This is Michael Moore, chief of the LAPD. You may remember him from this troubling quote.
We didn't have protests last night. We had criminal acts. We didn't have people mourning the death of this man, George Floyd. We had people capitalizing. His death is on their hands, as much as it is those officers.
Putting the death of George Floyd, who died at the hands of a police officer, away from Derek Chauvin and onto the protesters.
That's the stupidest ass thing I've ever heard. Blame the protesters for instead of Derek Chauvin for George Floyd to be dead? What's next? They're gonna blame bystanders for
a black metal
My God.
actuator. Then they give this line that should never be uttered again.
And upon his arrival, an officer-involved shooting occurred.
Like I said, what are they gonna do? Blame the bystanders for Breonna Taylor's death? Fuck.
And call it what it is. If any outlet does this, it simply carries water for precincts across the country. Framing is important in media. The Los Angeles Times then wrote of the incident as follows. Deshanae Howard said she was parked in front of her house across the street when she saw the man walk past a bus stop near King and Dagnan Boulevard and noticed that he was being tailed by several police vehicles with their lights and sirens off. We all heard him say, "I don't have anything," and he started to run, she said, adding that she saw police shoot him 3 times when his back was turned on the shooting, Howard added. The fact that police didn't take the time to look back and see that there were kids playing, frustration creeping into her voice. She says, my neighbor was out trimming her hedges. Another witness said there was nothing in his hands.
Yeah, well, just like the Denver police that shot 5 bystanders, and they're trying to downplay, like, well, it could have been, it could have been the guy running away, or it could have ricocheted. Bullshit. They knew exactly what they're doing. That's just cop spleen 101 at its finest. That's exactly what cops do. Well, we're investigating. Oh, we're doing it. We're doing an investigation. Nah, you're just covering your asses for the thin blue line. That's all they do. They're just trying to cover their fucking P's and Q's and hoping they dot the I's and cross the T's and hoping things shit will go away. No. This is why people wanted to defund the police.
And they were shouting at him to turn over. There were many police amassing, and then finally somebody with a shield, they approached him. So what was he carrying? NBC Los Angeles reported he was holding an auto part.
An auto
not
part.
A firearm. It is not yet clear why police fired their weapons. No officers were injured during this incident, wrote NBC. The man remains in the hospital in serious condition. Los Angeles activist People City Council
probably was a
noted
spark
it took
plug.
2 days
Could have been an air
for the
filter.
Los Angeles Police Department to get their story straight.
Maybe it could have been an
As it
air
pertains
freshener.
to that first video film the police took, he followed up with a simple message. Listen closely. The LAPD repeatedly described what they found as a weapon. Why? They knew it wasn't a gun. Yet hours later, they had a press conference to describe an object as a weapon. Why did they default to calling a latch actuator a weapon?
Latch
Did the victim
actuator.
use the object in an attempt to inflict harm on someone, either civilian and or officer? If not, why would the LAPD continue to refer to this object as a weapon, he asked. The local activist also points this out. Hours after the LAPD killed a man at Hollywood and Highway.
Kind of like the cops, and that when you see you hold a camera, they think that's a weapon. It's a freaking camera.
Same here. Moore won't do the same after his cops shoot unarmed men in the back. The body cam footage has not yet been released. If departments stall and wait out the process, it is usually a porous sign. The Times notes it was the LAPD's 20th shooting of the year, a quarter of which have occurred this month. The man shot a military vet is
Yeah. More cops playing 101 at its finest. Unbelievable. Yeah. Here's another comment that says the United States loved its racism and killing people. Here we go. Let me read this before we get out of here. So here's a comment that says Rick the Rugger. He's talking about the Denver when the cops shot the 5 people. Here we go. He said, "How about this story from Denver? The part of town that was basically parking lots, bars and restaurants at 1 a.m. Sunday morning. Streets are busy and the police open fire, hitting a suspect and 5 civilians." Then they covered that story the other day. 5 civilians. Then they try to cover their asses and say, well, maybe it was a bullet that ricochets off the wall or something like that. Yeah, bullshit. They're just covering their asses, and cops explain 101 is fine. It's another case of happy fuck the cops, but that's it. I'm out of here. My job. Peace out.